employees or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loudesmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer the Line. I'm your host and analytics expert, Christian Giordani. Next to me is Rocky Giordani, our ex-professional athlete. Joining us momentarily will be Loudesmond, our professional handicapper. And here he is right here coming in. How you doing, Loud?
There he is.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Sorry, I had to restart my computer at the last second. Always happens that way. So there you go.
Always happens that way. Hey,
So,
no, the game's off. You got Heckler and Jekyll on back there, not the games.
Well, no, it's a commercial right now. So
Okay.
and you can't see my smart TV that's also behind me. When I travel now, because I travel around quite a bit. I have to keep one step ahead of the FBI.
Yes, you do.
So as I travel around, I now travel with a smart TV because a lot of hotels that you check into, I'll tell you what, I haven't found one yet that has Amazon Prime, right?
Right.
And most of them don't have CBS Sports Line. They don't have Peacock. They don't have, and the games are streamed in so many different places now. I mean, it's a blessing in one way in that we can see more football than we've ever seen before. But the downside is you have to have 900 different apps to watch it all.
Right.
All right, everyone, let's get right into it. The Thursday night game starts in about 10 minutes. The Tennessee Titans, along with the new favorite to win Rookie of the Year, according to a lot of experts, Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins, along with Derrick Henry and the rest of the Tennessee Titans, are heading to Pittsburgh to play Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. How do you guys feel about this game? It's a -3 spread in Pittsburgh. Rocky, how you feeling?
Me first? Okay, listen, I hate this game, man, for a bunch of reasons, I don't like to bet against Mike Tom. I don't like to bet against the Steelers at home, ever. But this guy, Will Levis, is like this unknown commodity. He came out of nowhere, man, and he looked great. A little bit late to start talking about Rookie of the Year since he came on in week 8. I don't think that's going to happen. But the guy's great. If you put a gun to my head and forced me to take a bet on this, I would take the visiting team plus 3 points. I'm going to ride Will Levis till he does something wrong.
Loud.
Okay, so hang on. Let's be clear. Loudesmond said he thought Will Levis was the best quarterback in last year's draft.
Yes, true.
So he is 6'4", 250 pounds, rocket arm. What happened to Will Levis is he had several great years, and then he transfer portaled, and the next year he got hurt early, and he had a crappy season, and he went from being in the top 5 to being, I think, the smartest pickup in the draft. The Tennessee Titans, who have struggled at quarterback for years with Ryan Tannehill, got Will Levis with the 33rd pick of the draft, which means they didn't have to pay him very much either. He's making $500,000 a year for the next 4 years.
I'll say it out loud. We were all misfortunate and unfortunate enough to have to watch Tennessee through the Ryan Tannehill era, but that is over. I'll say it right now. He's done.
Here's why I love Tennessee going forward. Derrick Henry is still a really, really good running back. And he gets more yards after contact than any running back in the NFL. He averages 3 yards after contact. Basically, he is his own blocker. So, BYOB means bring your own blocker for Derrick Henry. And so teams used to be able to load the box because guess what? Were you afraid of Ryan Tannehill beating you with the pass? No. But Levis, he hit 3 long touchdown passes, 2 to DeAndre Hopkins, and one of the other third for Hopkins was fairly short, but he had another long bomb to another guy. The play action pass is going to be deadly. with Will Levis now back there, it's going to be pick your poison. You're not going to be able to just load the box and say we're going to stop Derrick Henry, and that's going to stop the Titans' offense. Christian.
That was the key to beating the Titans, was key on Derrick Henry. And then when he wasn't doing so well, and let's face it, come on, man, he had to be a little bit disheartened, man. But he is King Henry, and I'm so happy that I got to watch him play. I'm serious. His career has been nothing short of magnificent, and I think now he's going to be fired up. I think he's gonna be fired up for tonight because he's got a quarterback that can help him out, take some of the pressure off him. I think Louder hit it right on the head. I think Tennessee's gonna have Derrick Henry, especially, gonna have a great night tonight because of Will Levis.
I'm going to take the under in this game. I believe the number is 46.5 because Pittsburgh's offense is terrible.
Wait, the spread right now,
but the under is really low. What's the under? It's like super low, like
37.
37.
Do you know why? All the primetime games have been going under for some reason.
Right.
All the primetime games have been under. All of them.
I like Tennessee +4 and under the number.
Speaking of Tennessee Titans, if you saw all the behind the NFL tapes from last week, you see all these guys, even the defenses, DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry on the sideline, when they're in rotation, seeing Will Levis play out, and they go, that's a quarterback. That's the guy we've been telling you about all year long. They're screaming it to the fans. They're screaming it to the guys on the other sideline. They are pumped.
They're excited. They have their guy. They're like,
with this kid.
Everybody knew Ryan Tannehill was a shortstop, but there was nothing they could do. He was a quarterback, and Mike Vrabel just stayed with him for God knows why. And listen,
no, it wasn't Vrabel. It was the general manager, the same guy who traded away the receiver.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, because Mike Vrabel doesn't have personnel decision level making.
Right. Now that makes sense.
So he's had to live with the decisions that the GM has made.
Yeah. I like it. All right.
Speaking of GMs.
Go ahead. Before you do though, listen, I have to introduce my best friend. This is Pollito. He's an inanimate judge. Do not judge me for having a best friend who's a stuffed beanbag animal. This is Pollito. Es mi amigo. Okay?
All right.
Just kidding. Right.
Okay, man. Okay.
Let's talk about the juice, the meat and potatoes.
Speaking of, you serve that with meat and potatoes. Speaking of general managers and coaches that should be fired.
Should be.
The Raiders finally did it.
I'm so happy. I'm going to do 10 minutes to just let him go. Let him do 10 minutes on this one.
No.
All right.
I just got to say, well, finally.
Yeah.
You know the story, guys. I have been a Raiders fan my whole life. And Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler and Mark Davis actually turned me off so badly that I have become a Saints fan. I took all my Raiders stuff, 55 years of Raiders stuff. Phil Villapiano signed footballs. Kenny Stabler signed Raiders jacket. Put it all in boxes and put it in my garage. And started buying. What?
Couldn't stand to look at it.
No, it was. And the way they treated Derek Carr, I mean, oh my God. Let's remember the history. Derek Carr held that team together and got them in the playoffs and played the Cincinnati Bengals, who eventually represented the AFC in the Super Bowl, tight to the point where it was a 3-point game at the end and the Raiders had a chance to get in field goal position, but they missed the kick. That was what happened after John Gruden, the coach, was let go because of a email kerfuffle. Henry Ruggs, the star receiver, kills somebody. Damon Arnett, their best cornerback and a #1 draft pick, is in a drug-fueled rage with firearms on Facebook, and he gets let go. A special teams coordinator in his 60s becomes the head coach, and they go on a playoff run. And then Mark Davis, in all his wisdom, fires everybody and brings in Josh McDaniels, who flamed out the only other time he had a head coaching gig. Now, Josh McDaniels should have never been hired. Rocky, why?
I'm going to tell you why. Firing. I'm fine with him firing him, but he never should have been hired. And I'll tell you one reason why. This whole Belichick way, or the whole Belichick, what do they call it, the Belichick way of football, takes 3 or 4 years to institute. If you're not going to give him 3 or 4 years and stick by him, you never should have hired him. If you're going to fire him halfway through his first year, and by the way, he stunk it up, and I would have fired him too. But I never would have hired him in the first place unless I was willing to commit to 3 or 4 years of hard time. And locker room's not going to like him until they buy into it. And there's a reason why they didn't like him.
Okay, let's give a quick. Hang on. Let's give a quick example here. Dan Campbell with the Lions went 1-15 in his first year.
Yep.
He was 1-6 in the middle of his second year. But the team was showing signs of life, and the players bought into him, and they turned the corner a bit and went on to get to at least 500. And then the last game of the second season, they knocked the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs on a Sunday night in Lambeau.
Yeah,
the Detroit Lions haven't won a game in Green Bay in like 20 years.
The difference between Dan Campbell and our boy who just got fired, Josh McDaniels, Dan Campbell never kicked a field goal with 2 minutes left, down by 2 scores.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? That's when he lost me. That's when I knew he couldn't coach.
Okay, all right.
Speaking of this,
he froze up.
We're good.
Look,
we're good.
Christian, get in here.
Yeah, the Raiders are still paying this guy $45 million.
They should have never.
And they're still paying John Gruden $30 million.
They should have never fired John Gruden. They should have never fired John Gruden. They should have never let John Gruden go.
By the NFL.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? If Al Davis was around, he'd have given him the finger and found a way to tough it up.
Well, no, if Al Davis, you're right. If Al Davis was around, he would have said, "Sue me,
sue me."
And John Gruden would still be the coach.
Now,
all right.
And
where do the Raiders go from here, Christian?
The Raiders need to either blow it up or reconstruct on a short rebuild for a championship. They have a chance with 2 big corner pieces guys in Josh Jacobs and Max Crosby, guys who aren't even 25 years old, to make a loaded roster. Devontae Adams,
I think Devontae Adams needs to be sold.
Yeah, so
maybe not. Maybe now he'll be okay.
I agree. It's still better in the long run.
How many years away, Christian, are the Raiders, you think, from being competitive for a deep playoff run? 3?
It depends.
6 months ago, they could have been competitive.
Okay.
6 months ago.
Look, from someone who's going on, and Mark Davis, listen to me, because I sent in my freaking job application for your GM job 2 days ago. So here you go. This is what I got. You want a short rebuild? You're probably a year or 2 away with Devontae Adams. If you want a dynasty, you're about 4 years away from 5 championships in 15 years. These guys have a set to make a lot of rings, to make a lot of money. They're in a new city, and they have a good chance to bring back that bad boys Raiders culture that's been needed in that locker room.
The essential Raider is Max Crosby.
Yes.
He is the guy I would build my future around.
Exactly.
I would go defense first.
His attitude. I would
build around his attitude first, and I would build a bully. I would use a bunch of draft picks on monsters on defense, and my trading card would be for the Raiders in Vegas. Come in here, and we're gonna kick your ass.
Raiders were always bullies. You know what? You know what was the best bet? The best bet in football 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Whoever played the Raiders last week, they were so beat up they could never cover the next week. Bet against whoever played the Raiders last week, just bet against them the next week. They're never going to cover the spread. And that's the real.
That's the thing. You're going to come in here, and even if you take a win, you're going to take a weak bidding. You're going to take a beating.
Right. You're going to take a beating.
Yeah.
You beat us, so you're going to take a beating. And Devontae
that's the way
Adams,
it's always been.
Devontae Adams doesn't want to be a Raider
old.
regardless.
He's 30 years old. He's a luxury item. I would go get a second and a third for him right now.
You can still get a first for him. Maybe
Why
even
not
two.
a first?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's supposed to be one of the greatest receivers in the league.
He's still a top 3 guy. He's a guy you can get some draft capital behind and clear out for the next 2 years $60 million. Look,
So
you don't want to.
I think you sell Devontae Adams high, and you get at least a 2 and a 3, maybe a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 4, because what the Raiders need is lots of bodies, lots of help. But I would build that team around Max Crosby.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about some other things.
Trades.
Yeah.
Chase Young to the Niners, Christian.
What the heck?
Yeah, what a loaded defense these guys. You know, Nick Bosa gets his teammate back from for Ohio State. Chase Young goes to the 49ers, and all they give up is a 3rd-round pick for the previous number 4 guy in the draft about 2 years ago. Yes, he's had some injuries. He's had some injuries in his young year, but now he does not have to carry the load. He's got guys like Armstead, Nick Bosa, and now Chase Young on the other side of that rush. This kid is going to make some impact. And he already has some chemistry with Kyle Shanahan as well. And this is the one thing that is going to be bugging me about this trade. The San Francisco 49ers did not improve their secondary one bit. And that is where they've been lacking the defensive presence.
Because their belief is the reason the secondary was getting exposed is because the 4 guys rushing weren't getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. That's what this guy will do mostly. He will get Nick Bosa home. He will give Bosa a chance to get more sacks, more quarterback hits, because they can't just ignore the other side now. You know what I mean? You can't just, put everybody stop Nick Bosa. This guy's going to be great. This guy's really, really good. He's an awesome. That's my daughter. Sorry, calling me. I'm trying to decline that. I don't know how I do that. Oh, that's right.
Good.
Yeah. So he's gonna make a big. Now it's not going to solve all their defensive problems, but it certainly is going to help a lot. Their defensive problems, for sure, it's going to help a lot. This guy's going to be great.
Yeah, I like Chase Young. I thought he was going to be a guy going to another team that needed him, like the Lions or even the Eagles, trying to upload on their defensive line. But it's a great fit in San Francisco for Chase Young. This guy, yes, he's had injuries in his young career, but if he can stay healthy for the remainder of the season, this puts the 49ers back as favorites after those 3 straight losses.
Oh, listen, like I said, it's not going to solve, like you said, their secondary, but it's going to take – Loud has a point. The secondary is exposed because they can't get to the quarterback. This guy is going to take a lot of pressure off of Bosa to help him get to the quarterback. He will help Nick Bosa get home. Nick Bosa will now get more pressures, hits, and hurries on the quarterback because Chase Young is on the other side. It's not going to solve all the problems, but it's going to help.
Arizona dealt their starting quarterback Dobbs to the Vikings. Is Arizona just like, we're done and we're in for Caleb Williams? What do you think?
Kyler Murray's back, right?
Yeah,
he's back.
They sent over Josh Dobbs and a 7th-round pick for a 6th-rounder coming in for next year. Josh Dobbs had a good 3 first weeks to the season in Arizona, and after that, he's had a slow decline. And yes, Kyler Murray is coming back, I believe, in the next week or 2. And they said he's going to start once he comes back in.
Of course he's going to start.
So that was a big question we all had a few weeks ago. Is Kyler Murray going to play another game for the Arizona Cardinals? It looks like he is. Josh Dobbs, Minnesota, after Kirk Cousins, unfortunately tore his Achilles to end the remainder of his season. Josh Dobbs is going in.
I told you before last week that Minnesota had a chance to win their 6 next games. For sure, 5 out of the next 6. They won that first game. Kirk Cousins goes down. Now I don't know what happens with a new quarterback, but they've still got a favorable schedule for the next 5 weeks. They still got a shot at this. But Detroit is not going to let it happen, man. They had a chance because they had a really good second half of the schedule.
Josh Dobbs he's a competitive quarterback. He's positive always on his QBR. He's a good guy to have behind center. He's not someone who's going to win you a Super Bowl, but he's going to be there to stop the bleeding and try to win some of those games. Maybe slink this Minnesota team to a playoff spot, but I highly doubt it. It's just someone to bring in so Justin Jefferson keeps his numbers and to stay happy.
There is that. Okay. One of the surprising things to me is the Dallas Cowboys didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, did you hear what Jerry Jones said? He said, I'm not making a call. They're coming to me. That's how I'm seeing it, this trade.
Yeah. Sure. Jerry Jones is going to sit around and say everything's fine. Hey, by the way, Pollito has a brother. They're twins. Gemelos.
All right. Yeah. Now, one trade that really puzzled me, Montez Sweat to the Bears.
Now, why did they let him go?
For a second
round.
What are they doing?
Yeah, but
are you saying why did the Commanders let him go?
Yeah, what was the idea? What are they doing?
That owner, I forget which basketball team he also owns.
76ers.
He burned that. He tanked for 2 years. And I think he's got the same plan with the Commanders. Sell everything off, take it down to the floorboards, and start over.
Yeah, players aren't listening. They're playing hard, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing, a weird thing is the Bears are the ones getting Montez Sweat, great for them, you get a guy who's a double-digit sack guy for a whole season, but
yeah. Now, Christian, what about that division? You look at this. The Detroit Lions are 5-2, right? And now they've got Jordan Love, a first year starting quarterback, not a rookie, but his first year as a starting quarterback. And the Bears have a rookie, and the Vikings have a rookie. So now, who's going to stop the Detroit Lions from walking everybody over? They're going to walk through the division now.
I don't think anyone. This is the thing with me. This is me with the Chicago Bears making this trade. Look, you're dead last in the division. Jordan Love has not been good after week 3. He's been having a rough second half of the season as well. The Vikings just lost their big guy. So they're trying to play catch up to the Detroit Lions or any other NFC team to try to get at least a 500.
Hey, the Bears have 2 first-round picks that are going to be high picks. I believe that they think they're going to build a bully on defense. And then they're going to go get themselves a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think that's their plan.
I think that's the first two picks, don't they?
Questionable, whatever the season ends. But the Bears, this is a long-term move for the Bears. They know they're not going anywhere this year, especially what they have in the quarterback position, how bad their offensive line has been. So this is a trade for the future. Montez Sweat's only 27 years old. I think he's got another year after this on his contract, so they're going to be looking to extend him. So we'll see how it turns out.
All right.
The Bills get a desperately needed cornerback in Rasul Douglas. That the Bills. I didn't realize exactly how badly the Bills' defense has been decimated by injuries, but their really secondary has been just destroyed. Their number one cornerback is out with a torn Achilles. They lost Matt Milano, their middle linebacker. They lost an important defensive lineman. So that, it's a little bit of help. And then the White Flag Award goes to the Giants, who traded Leonard Williams to the Seahawks and are paying all of Leonard Williams' salary.
Wow.
What is that?
Wow.
And that's because the Giants would have only gotten a 3rd or 4th round pick from the Seahawks if the Seahawks had to pay Williams' salary, and the Giants said, no, we'll pay his salary and give him to you, but we want a 2nd rounder. So the Giants are starting over
as well. They got two picks, a 5th and a 2nd.
Now, Loud, a couple weeks ago you asked for it, so I called the station, and they sent Melissa Guerrero back down for tomorrow's show. So we're hoping she gets to plug her, plug her station effectively this time, and we'll see what happens. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, Christian is the host of the show, so you got to get him all the relevant information. I'm on the road, so I'm not going to be as Johnny on the spot as I usually am. So
But you'll be there
Christian,
tomorrow, right?
your responsibility to market it.
Yes,
You
sir.
got it.
Okay. So talking about this.
All right, guys.
Seahawks.
Thank you. It's a Thursday night football night. I'm out.
All right,
All right,
Lon.
bro.
All right, so we got about 2 minutes left going out. Yeah, a big
cool.
trade. Leonard Williams to the Seahawks, man. This bulks up their defense
Yeah.
immensely.
Sure, man. And they needed him. By the way, the 49ers got another lineman. Almost said it. Another lineman. They went out and got another lineman. I guess they think Trent Williams is going to be out for a while.
Yes, for a long
They went and
time.
got another really good left tackle.
Yes.
An excellent left tackle.
Now, for the Seahawks to make this kind of trade, they're now leading the NFC West.
Yeah,
Briefly,
not for long.
holding on.
One
They're
minute.
looking at a chance still to advance to the playoffs. They're still a pretty good team. They're at a 5-3 record right now. I have a lot of faith going in forward, not at the quarterback position, but how good their defense has been holding other teams.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting. We'll be talking more about this next week, guys, along with Jeremy James.
Tomorrow.
Yes,
Tomorrow.
So we will be seeing you guys tomorrow on Steer the Line for the full weekend recap.
We will